Hi guys, I'm going to make a little video for you as I promised on this Lab 4B of how to get through some of these answers. So this was graded on Moodle and I put it in your grade book today, but the grades were not so hot, so I thought I would retouch on some of these concepts. So for lesson 4B, here are the main formulas that were in this lesson. We have the compounded quarterly, daily, monthly, that kind of formula that's up here at the top. We also have the compounded continuously. I don't think that formula is actually used in this lab that we're getting ready to look at, but that's another important formula for this section. And then we have the APY formula that is shown here. So I'm going to start with the first one of scenario 1. And so in scenario 1, we have Margie, and she has gotten a school loan, and her loan amount is for $4,608. So for scenario 1, that $4,608 is clearly the P. That's her principal value. That's how much her loan amount is for. She was able to finance it at an interest rate of 6.8%. Make sure you change that decimal correctly. That's 0.068 because you want to divide it by 100 to get it in decimal form. And it's compounded annually, and because it's compounded annually, that means N is 1, that it's just once a year. So we're just going to plug into that formula, and I'm actually just going to do this right here in the calculator so you can see this a little better. So in the calculator, we're going to plug in the 4608, and it is at a 0.068 rate. Did I do that decimal right? And it is just one time a year. You don't really even have to put that one, and we're doing it for 5 years. And so there is the answer to the first blank there on that lab, $6,402.78. Actually, quite a few of you got the first scenario 1 pretty good. So that's that correct answer, and then they want to know how much interest is. Well, her loan amount was for the $4,608. Therefore, the interest is that leftover part, $1,794.78. So it's the total minus the PV, that principal value there. Okay, so next up we have the same type thing for 10 years. So I'm just going to recall this by hitting second enter, and I'm just going to change my 5 to 10 years. So for the 10-year loan, she would owe $8,896.62, and if we take out the principal value of that loan, we see that she owes that much in interest. So it's almost half interest, half principal value there. All right, scenario 2. Scenario 2 is another student loan, and the difference in this is I see the words compounded quarterly. So for scenario 2, we are taking out a student loan for $29,500, and the interest rate is 0.0466, and this time N is 4. It's compounded quarterly. So again, we're using that exact same formula up here. This is the same one that we're using, and we're going to punch that right into the calculator. Sorry, a little awkward here. So we're going to punch that right into the calculator. And that interest rate was 0.0466 quarterly, so that's why I'm dividing by 4, and then I'm raising to, notice how I have to use parentheses here, so be real careful about that, 4 times however many years, and this year was 10 years. So some of your newer calculators, you can see the 4 times 10 is in the exponent. You just want to make sure that it's raised to the 40th, that the 4 times 10 is all part of the exponent. And there's the correct answer to scenario 2, $46,884.95. How much of that is interest? Well, the loan amount was for $29,500, and therefore that number right there is the interest, $17,384.95. All right, scenario 3. I'm trying to move through these. I know I'm going quick, but you can pause and stop me for those that want a little bit more time with this. Scenario 3 is a little bit tricky because they want $25,000 at the end, and you really have to watch that. That's what they're saying. They're not saying that they're investing $25,000. In scenario 3, they're saying they want $25,000. Therefore, your job is to solve for the P. They're not giving you the P, they're giving you the A. So the book will sometimes teach a different formula for this, but it's actually, you can use the same formula right here. It's just we're going to solve for P if we're given A. So we are given that A for scenario 3 is $25,000. And then we want to solve for P. And we are at, let's see what kind of rate here, 0.0459. Always make sure you're doing that correctly by dividing by 100 to change that to a decimal. And then we want to do compounded monthly. Monthly means 12. So we're going to change that to 12. And we're going to do this for 4 years. That's a little bit tricky too, but the 48 months, you could just put 48 there as well because that's how many months it is. All right, so what we want to do is, how I do this is I go put this big blob right here into the calculator. So I'm going to go type that in just the way it looks. And I'm going to get that answer. And it's this decimal. And here's where you have to be real careful because you don't want to round it. So I'm just going to leave it sitting right there in my calculator. And then you know what I'm doing right here is I'm going to divide by that number because that's what's going to cancel this out and solve for P. So I want to divide 25,000 by that number. So 25,000 divided by that answer, and there we get $20,814 on the dot. So that tells me that's how much I need to invest is $20,814 in order for it to grow to the $25,000 that I need in 4 years. All right, last scenario, and this one, actually there's a few of you that did fairly well. You're supposed to fill out a table here on scenario 4 of the APYs. And I showed a little video clip of how to do that, but here is the formula that he talks about. You basically pretend you're investing $1 for 1 year, and you basically are gonna see what happens to your $1. And whatever cents it grows by is the percentage of your APY. So we are going to take our $1. I'm just going to put the $1 in the calculator there. And we're going to use that formula. And the rate, here's the tricky part. I think this is where a lot of us went wrong. That rate is 0.75%. Yeah, that's extremely low, 0.75%. Divide that by 100 and you get this really small decimal that looks like this. That is it in decimal form. If you put 0.75, you're acting like it's a 75% interest rate, and that is certainly not true. So we put that in, and then we're going to compound in this problem, scenario 4, it clearly says daily. So because it says daily, I'm going to divide by 365 there, and I am going to just raise it to 1 year. Whoops, times the 365. And here's what happened. My dollar turned into that. So let's see what we've got. We've got our $1 at a 0.75% rate, and it is compounded daily, and we're raising it to the 1 year times 365. And we're going to take our dollar right back out of it, and that gives us 0.7528. If you change that to percentage, you get 0.7528, and that is the correct answer that I'm looking for in the table there for the APY. You're going to do the same exact thing for the 0.25% rate, so I'm going to recall this up here. Okay, and I want to change that rate to 25. Same thing, minus the dollar back out of it, put it in percentage form. It's 0.2503. And then the last one, same thing. I'm going to recall this same kind of step here. I'm hitting second enter to kind of recall that just as a shortcut. But now my interest rate, well, it was 1%. So I got to adjust some things here. 1% would look like that in a decimal. So there's my 1%. Again, take my dollar back out of it. That's how much cent it grew, and that is a 1.005% change. So what we're looking at here is they claimed the interest rate was 0.75%, but because they compounded our money daily, it's a little bit more than that. The APY would be 0.7528 on that. So that's basically what they're getting at. And then the last three questions, a lot of you gave up by the time you got to these three. So let me just show you, they're actually fairly easy. You have a $10,000 principal amount, so you would put your principal in, and then you're going to do your interest rate. And so the first interest rate is that 0.0075, and it's compounded daily. That's what a lot of you left out, the fact that it's still compounded daily for 10 years. And there's our answer. That's what I'm looking for. 10,000. Actually, I'm sorry, I did the third one there. So I did the 0.0075 one first. Yeah. Okay, so I did the second one. I did the savings account first, sorry. So that's the middle blank, and then the first blank is the 0.0225 number. So let me go change that. That's the first one. That is the 0.0025 checking rate would be that amount. So that's the answer to that first one. And then the 10,778. And then last but not least is the 1% rate. So we're going to change that to 1%. And we get that answer as the last one. $11,051.69. So let me just flash these answers for you one more time. That way, if you missed any of them, maybe you can get a quick look at them or snip a screenshot or something of it. So those are the answers to that lab. I hope that helped. If you have any more questions about 4B, feel free to email me or come by my office and see me. And then we are going to be testing, and that is going to be on the test on Wednesday. Thanks.